All right, guys, so today we have a story out of San Francisco that actually has nothing to do with smash and grab break-ins and looting and stealing things from small businesses, right? Which has basically been most of the news out of San Francisco in the Bay Area is the crime going on there. Actually, today's story is a case of discrimination, right? A case of discrimination. And this time, the discrimination isn't against somebody because of their race, their skin color, their sex, their gender, whatever, right? It's not that, right? This time, the discrimination is against police officers. Yes, discrimination against police officers. And the reason why is because allegedly, the police officers' weapons are scary, right? And this restaurant called Hilda and Jesse decided that it is okay for the employees to refuse service to police officers based off the fact that they felt uncomfortable with the police being in the restaurant with their weapons. Take a look.
Cisco's police chief is speaking out after he says that 3 officers were asked to leave a restaurant. Chief Bill Scott says that it happened Friday at Hilda and Jesse's. The officers were all in uniform carrying their service weapons when they stopped by for lunch. However, instead of taking their order, restaurant employees asked them to leave. The restaurant addressed the incident on its Instagram account, saying in part that Hilda and Jesse is a safe space. The presence of the officers' weapons in the restaurant made us feel uncomfortable. We welcome officers into the restaurant when they are off duty, out of uniform, and without their weapons. In response, Chief Scott posted this message saying that the San Francisco Police Department stands for safety with respect, even when it means respecting wishes that our officers and I find discouraging and personally disappointing.
It's not about the fact that we are anti-police. It is about the fact that we do not allow weapons in our restaurant. We were uncomfortable, and so we politely asked them to leave. It has nothing to do with the fact that they were officers and everything to do with the fact that they were carrying guns.
Silcox says the officers are welcome to come back to the restaurant without their weapons, and the staff would be happy to serve them. She agreed to the interview with me to clarify false narratives on social media right now about why the officers were asked to leave.
All right, guys, so you've seen that, you heard that, right? Obviously, this is ridiculous, right? And this is so San Francisco, okay? You currently have a town that is being looted, okay, by criminals, right? Smashing grabs, break-ins, crime everywhere. But yet these employees, they're worried about the police, right? They are scared of the police. And the police and their weapons, they're so scary with their badges and their guns and their nightsticks. We want to kick them out. We can't serve them because we need a safe space. Bruh, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And because of this, this restaurant, rightfully so, drew a lot of negative reviews and social media backlash that we're going to get into here over this. But let's read here. A San Francisco restaurant drew a fury of negative reviews and harsh criticism on social media Saturday evening once word got out that it had turned away 3 uniformed San Francisco police officers from a meal because their weapons made employees uncomfortable. The incident took place on Friday at a Union Street brunch spot named Hilda and Jesse and prompted a Twitter response from SFPD Chief William Scott. So let's go down here. Because we already read about all this stuff. The incident drew comments supporting both sides. Some commenters were clearly upset at the incident, calling it discriminatory and pointing out that if there were to be an emergency, the officers would be there to help. Quote, how disrespectful and entitled of the business to treat people who risk their lives to protect us, wrote one poster. It's a bit heartbreaking, actually. Local resident John Perry agreed. So bummed this happened in my neighborhood, he posted. Never had the food at this new restaurant, but it could not possibly be good enough to cover the bad taste this leaves. Peter Schreier had a differing viewpoint. It's her restaurant. She can do what she wants. He posted, who wants to be eating lunch next to someone with a weapon? Bruh, name me a time where a police officer, for no reason whatsoever, right? Just because you're just sitting there eating and a police officer took out his gun and just started shooting you, right? Now, again, I'm not saying that may have never happened before, but I feel like it would be hard pressed for anybody to find a police officer that just took out his gun and started shooting people for no reason as you're sitting down in a restaurant eating, right? I would be more concerned about somebody coming in and looting the place, right, than a police officer and his weapon. Okay, so if in any event, if I'm in San Francisco, I would love to have police in my venue, in my store, if I'm a business owner, right? But obviously this person's not thinking that way. And apparently this is a newer restaurant that just kind of opened up. And what a disastrous way to kill your business right out the gate, as a bunch of people went on Yelp and gave this restaurant some very, very, very bad reviews over there. So much so that Yelp, when I pulled up this page, there was like a notification saying that, hey, we're monitoring this because people are basically giving this restaurant negative reviews over social media reports. So let's actually read some of these reviews because it's actually pretty hilarious. John S. says, ish-hole and ish-hole people and bad service and ishy food and opinions. Hope this place closes. Chuck S. says, literally a below average place with a contrived menu trying to be all quirky instead of actually producing decent food. Sometimes people lose the plot. Food matters in a restaurant and is barely possible here. Avoid. Jack F. says, the ratatouille is best around. Very fresh and a large portion at Hilda and Jesse restaurant. Boy, they done posted the rats, right? The rats hanging, trying to imply that this restaurant serves rats. Don Z says, zero interest in community support, allowing staff to discriminate against police officers that protect them. So sad. Again, these are all 1-star reviews. Lynn T, let's actually look at a real review. They give him 5 stars. I came here a few weeks ago and enjoyed the food and service. I wasn't planning to write a review, but hearing about the negative reviews that haven't been flagged, I thought an actual customer review might be needed. It's good to know that rude tourists and people who are jerks online and possibly in real life won't be eating here, so I can enjoy another meal in peace. I'll add, maybe the reality, I'd give 4 stars, but they deserve 5 for putting up with crap. Food is good. I prefer costs are included with the food and not added as percent after the San Francisco mandate, etc. Brandy says, as a nurse and person who serves alongside officers and other first responders, I'm disappointed to see this so-called non-political decision from a business. First responders serve their community without judgment, and these officers unfortunately will still be there in a heartbeat to help this unsavory business along with their firearms if it is ever a victim of a violent crime. This is what good people do, not that Hilda and Jesse would. No. All right. So, yeah, a lot of people came up here and basically bombed the review section of this restaurant on Yelp because of this, right? And I mean, hey, that's the free market, right? People want to talk about, well, restaurants have the right to deny service and business to whoever they want. All right, cool. Well, people have the right to leave bad reviews for the restaurant because of their actions, right? And not to eat there because of their actions, right? Two can play at that game. But in regards to the overt discrimination, obviously it's ridiculous that they're discriminating against police officers, right? For obvious reasons. One, because discrimination like that is bad. And I say that regardless of the political side of the aisle, right? I think businesses probably shouldn't be engaged in that type of discrimination, right? Like I said, I wasn't a fan of the restaurant owner that discriminated against people that voted for Joe Biden. I was not a fan of that. A lot of people were celebrating that. And I was like, nah, we shouldn't be celebrating that because the pendulum always swings the other way. Right? I'm not a fan of restaurants discriminating against conservatives or Trump voters. I'm not a fan of it. Okay? So any type of discrimination, I'm not really a fan of, right? When it comes to stuff like that. But that's not to say they don't have the right. What I'm saying is I'm not a fan of it, right? I won't support it. Okay? Because I can see under certain situations, you probably want to refuse service to somebody, for example, something reasonable like that person is being violent in the restaurant, right? They're causing problems, stuff like that. Yeah, you should have the right as a restaurant to refuse service to those people, okay? But in general, I think it's wrong when you stereotype police officers as dangerous just because they have weapons, right? It's the same thing as if, I refuse service to somebody because they're black and they have dreadlocks, right? I think they might loot my store. They might rob me because I'm under the impression that people that commit these crimes are black and have dreadlocks, right? Or maybe it's a white guy with a ton of tattoos, right? Or something like that. Okay, it's the same exact thing. And I'm pretty sure that the woke revolutionaries on the left would say that under those circumstances, that is wrong and that you shouldn't do that. So again, how is this right? Right? How is it right for you to discriminate against police officers if you wouldn't discriminate against other people based off certain stereotypes? Right? Because some people on the left have stereotyped cops to be bad people, right? And that they're dangerous people. And we don't want them in there, right? When they're in their uniform. Okay? So, like I said, this restaurant, hey, Free market, man. They deserve all the bad reviews that they get because of this, and people can freely choose not to go there. All I'm saying is this. This is a bad way to start a business, right? This is a terrible way to start a business. Terrible way. Discriminating against police officers, especially in a city like San Francisco. If anything, if I was a business owner there, I would welcome police officers. I want y'all eating here all the time. Please, right? I feed you for free, right? Just eat here and be here so that if somebody try to loot or rob me, I can at least have some protection there, right? That's what a smart business owner would be thinking. But hey, it's San Francisco. These people are crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.